with the
Da, da,
intro.
da, 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 da,
And we
da.
are live.
All right, sons of bitches, let's get this shit done. I gotta keep this cat out from under my feet. So here we go, Scott Ritter.
So,
Scott
yeah,
Ritter, Freddie, let's tell it.
Plato and Wake found me and they dusted me off, and I'm back on YouTube.
Yeah.
Suck it.
All right, so let's get it. So Scott Ritter, the pedophile truther of the moment.
Hey,
and
let's
friends
do
with
a
Joe
screen
and
share.
friends with Joe Biden, of course.
Can you play
friends
that
with Joe
little joke?
Biden. He's on Redacted, and that motherfucker from Redacted is a real estate thief at the
No,
same time. Which is,
the guy on Redacted, he's got a disclaimer saying don't follow any of his advice, but this is just his own personal experience on blah 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 blah. Now that's what's his name? Scott. No, Morris. Okay, so Scott Morris is the guy who's running this show called Redacted with his wife out of Portugal, and that's where I came across, because they give you the alternative side, but we have to be aware with people like this. This Morris guy who runs that Redacted show, he's ex Fox News, and his wife is some other corporate media shill, and
But
now
they
they're
claim that they're independent.
Yeah, they're independent, and they have at least 2 producers and
they wear earpieces. Yeah, they got earpieces.
But anyways, it's another side of reality, and there's multiple realities now. We all know that. We live in the fucking bazaar. So anyways, I was watching these guys, and they mentioned that they're going to have Scott Ritter on. And I was like, Scott Ritter, the old weapons inspector. So I looked into what Scott Ritter's been up to lately, and see, Scott Ritter is famously Biden during the weapons of mass destruction psyop back in the old Iraq war there. Scott Ritter produced documents showing there's no weapons of mass destruction. And the president of the United States, then Senator, Mr. Biden, he went head to head with Scott Ritter. And his famous line was, "Listen, Scotty boy, this is above your pay grade," when Scott Ritter had produced that. So anyways, I guess it didn't really fall into the narrative of the empire of America to have no weapons of mass destruction. So Scott Ritter was probably looked at by the powers that be and dug into. Scott Ritter got busted twice. One time he beat the charges, and he's a minor attracted person. And also his history is like intelligence in the U.S. military and all sorts of shit. And then he became a UN's weapons inspector. And then, anyways, he didn't find what the powers that be wanted. So I guess they looked at him really close, and sure enough, Scott eventually got arrested and charged, I believe in 2009, 10 or something like that, for being a minor attracted person. They set him up. I believe it was the FBI, and he got caught masturbating to an alleged 15-year-old girl. The charges went to court. That was the second time he got busted. Somehow he escaped the first one, and he got arrested, and he did a year and a half in jail in between 2012 and 2014. But now let's jump forward to the present day. So they dust this minor attracted scumbag off during the Ukraine conflict with Russia, the special event that's going on right now that's totally destroying all of our lives through high gas prices, food, all the rest of it.
Let me just tell people. Oh, go for it, man. Go.
Hey, but Freddie, so they claim. So they claim.
So they claim what? Oh, about the whole destroying our lives. Well,
because I can tell you that gas prices raised before we were even alerted about any war. So,
it's their excuse. I can concede that point, that it's their excuse to try to destroy everything. At this point, I believe you touched on it last time you talked to Wake, that you got to be living on top of your job nowadays, or even your fuel bill for the week or the month, it cuts into your bottom line so much it's almost not worth working anymore for a lot of people that we all know.
Right.
I wanted to go over what was on my screen so people can get familiar with this. This is also really interesting that goes along with the Scott Ritter narrative is the fact that right here, he was a former United States Marine Corps intelligence officer and convicted sex offender. And here's his information where he rejected a plea bargain and was found guilty. And where was that? Pennsylvania, April 14th, 2011. And he was paroled in 2012. And what does it say?
No,
he go to jail in 2014.
Yeah. He went to jail 2012 to 2014.
Yep. Okay.
And again, we're showing one screenshot here, but there is multiple.
Oh, I did want to bring. I wanted to bring up one more thing real quick as you were talking about that because I do have the. Give me 1 second to bring up this tab.
But again, like here, where we're going to go with this, we're also going to show you the alternative media that is now. Oh, here, this is great. Here,
this is the one you're talking about from back in the day with the UN weapons inspector and Ritter,
listen
right?
How Biden, listen, this is your president here. Let's hear how he treats someone that allegedly found no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Play that little clip, Wake.
It's about 6 minutes long. I don't want to get the video taken down. We can play a little clip of it. I don't know if you'll be able to hear the audio. Let me switch up my audio input and let me know if you can.
This is actually history, though. This shouldn't be able to get your video taken down. But this is Biden and in a Senate hearing about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
All right, here. If you guys mute up real quick, I'll see if I can get the sound quality to come through. All right. 1 second.
All right. My time is up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I envy your position. I sincerely do. I envy the ability to have such clarity on this issue. Let me ask you a question. Do you think you should be the one to be able to decide when to pull the trigger? No, sir. Isn't that what this is about? If you adopt the position that any time you are denied, your particular, there's 4 groups out there and inspectors, you're the group you headed, anytime you are denied, that ipso facto requires the United States and the Security Council to act on what they said they would do, which is to use whatever means necessary to take on Saddam Hussein so you can get into that particular facility. Is that not correct? Is that not your position?
Mr. Senator, I have a job to do, or I had a job to do, and that was to disarm Iraq in accordance with the provisions of relevant resolutions.
With all due respect, I'm not trying to be confrontational. I'm trying to get this as clear as I can. I really mean this now.
This is him interviewing Scott Ritter, by the way.
Logic. You put together a very tight syllogism here. You've indicated that your job is to disarm. The only way you can disarm is to have access. The only way you can have access is either with permission on the part of Iraq, or if denied, forced access. Right?
Compelled access.
Compelled. Well, okay. Compelled. You sound like the lawyer, and I sound like the military guy. I mean, compelled. Right? Come from. My old man said you're compelled, and I was forced. I mean, it was a real simple proposition. It wasn't much to debate. Now, there is a clear logic to that, and that's what I mean when I say I respect your position. But that means that whenever you choose a target that warrants inspection, and you are denied that ipso facto at that moment, the only way your position can be satisfied or sustained is if the UN Security Council or the United States acting unilaterally uses force to guarantee access. Is not that true?
Yes, sir.
Now, that means that you get to choose the time and place when we would use force, if we use force.
No, sir.
Of course you do. If you choose the site and it's denied.
And we coordinate with the member states to include the United States. Prior to us going in, we have their agreement that this indeed is an inspection worth doing.
Okay, inspection worth doing. Everybody's agreed it's worth doing, and it gets stopped.
Yes, sir.
At that moment, we're an automatic pilot as far as you're concerned. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Now, I respect that. But now, it seems to me the Secretary of State might have a slightly different problem. Secretary of State might be sitting there and saying, "Now look over there on that side. Now, I remember so and so and so and so and so and so, and the 12 people on this side, they're all the ones that said they didn't want to use force. Now, I'm going to have to go tell the president now that we should, or Secretary Cohen, unleash whatever it takes to get it done. And our military assessment is the same as the major's. The major's assessment is privately held, but publicly acknowledged later, that airstrikes alone aren't going to do this. Saddam's not going to cave on this. So, now here's the deal. I recommend the president have at it. And let the chips fall where they may. A reasonable position for the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State to take. But I respectfully suggest, Major, I respectfully suggest they have responsibility slightly above your pay grade. Slightly above your pay grade. To decide whether or not to take the nation to war alone, or to take the nation to war partway. Slightly above your pay grade. To decide whether or not to take the nation to war alone, or to take the nation to war partway, or to take the nation to war halfway. That's a real tough decision. That's why they get paid the big bucks. That's why they get the limos. And you.
Oh man, he totally wanted to say half-assed right on live TV.
You see the military-industrial complex at work right there, eh? And you see the president, the now president of the United States, who used to be coherent, wanting war bad.
Yeah, that's all they want. And you know, like I look at this Joe Biden character, and he's so ghetto. You know, like he almost said it half-assed, right? You know, and the weird thing is that we get all these clips about Joe Biden giving children these strange hugs and whatnot, and there he is with Scott Ritter, who is a convicted pedophile, one and the same, no different than the Ukraine war, neo-Nazi versus neo-Nazi.
Yep.
We're all being played. This is as you said, Freddie, and I wanted to make a point that, you know, when I say things, you know, earlier, like I was saying some stuff and you think that, you know, I'm not directing that towards you. I was saying it for the viewer, right? So the viewer in this situation needs to understand, in regards to what we're doing right here and right now, is that these people, as you say all the time, they're in it together. Right? These people, they all have the same baseline, which, in my opinion, what stands out is this kid touching thing, or this masturbating on video.
It goes right back to Epstein and everything else. I don't believe there is one freaking politician in power anywhere on the planet that isn't a controlled fucking human being. I think they're all in it, like, you know, that whole saying, like, when all this fucking last 2.5 years, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. That's the only truth I found out of any country, any politician, all fucking doing the same talking points. They are all in it together, and they are all fucking controlled, and they're all fucking wrong. It's a disgusting reality that we find ourselves in, right?
Yeah, to the detriment of who? Us, right? People like us.
Now, Wake, if you can go to the YouTube and you can put in Scott Ritter, Ukraine War, and just have a look and just slowly scroll as we're talking. And anyone watching this can see their favorite alternative journalist. And I'm talking from fucking Ron Paul all the way down to guys with only 10,000 subs that have had this fucking Scott Ritter piece of shit on their channel talking about, you know, the alternative look at the war. Well, Scott Ritter, up until this Ukraine war, which, February, it started actually in 2014, but mainstream narrative is, oh, they were invaded in February, whatever. This guy didn't have a pot to piss in. Nobody would have a fucking scumbag like him, convicted, wrong-thinking individual, minor attracted person. I won't call him a pedo because the chick was 15, sitting there jerking off on a camera in front of a fucking... a sting operation. So this guy didn't have a pot to piss in. Well, guess what? They found a use for Scott Ritter. And when you guys start looking at the amount of, you know, as the screen slowly scrolls by, look at how many views this guy has got. How much money did they pay Scott Ritter to become a relevant talking like to have his relevant talking points about this fucking wag the dog war that we're all involved in now. But
Me and Plato went over this last night about all this stuff, about how these shills are all failed musicians, failed actors, or convicted criminals that took a plea deal to be able to do this work online for a lesser sentence.
hey, do me a favor and keep scrolling down through that, because this isn't like 5 channels, guys. When I came across this and when I started researching Scott Ritter, and it's to this day, right now, he's doing a live stream on somebody's alternative freaking news shit. It's not the fake news. It's not. No, it's all fake fucking news.
Everybody's
all of these journalists. That's what I want to get through. All of these so-called journalists and truth speakers, they're such great journalists that they can put this guy on their channel without doing
but they can't do 5 minutes of research.
Yeah, a Google search, for fuck's sakes. And it's not like we're just, oh man, see, he was set up by the deep state. No, he wasn't. They're all fucking part of it. They're all part of it. And when,
I want to bring up. Hey, let me bring up a real quick point.
Look, hold on. The guy covering this, Connor Klein. Where does that? That's a small hat name, but look, he's got all the views for Scott Ritter. He's got a bunch of videos with Scott Ritter. Look at this.
Keep scrolling down, man. You will not find 5 or 10. You can go and
oh my god, yeah, they're everywhere. Look, 102,000 views. Scott Ritter. It just never ends.
But the amount,
Scott Ritter.
This is the
so let me
clothes, guys.
Hey, let me bring up a point real quick. So
sure.
This Scott Ritter guy, he at the time, he's head of intelligence, right?
Right.
So with the claim that he's American intelligence, right? Head of intelligence. How do you get caught doing what you do if you're head of intelligence? Because you should know that this product that we're using, the cell phone or the computer online, is full of intel. Yep. An intelligence person from the United States should know better, first off.
Well, I can kick into something. There's no accountability. We've got every fucking politician. Look what just happened to Boris Johnson. You know, like, look at all the fucking scumbag freaks that were in his cabinet. Look at up in Canada. Look who Trudeau used to be best buddies with. That fucking, what's his name, Ingersoll, whatever. If you can look into Justin Trudeau's fucking best friend in college, his roommate, guy he went teaching with and all that shit. The guy he got busted being one of the heads of a child exploitation fucking internet thing.
Freddie, I just found something.
Hang out with these fucking scumbags because they're all into that shit, and that's how they control
something, bro. I noticed this too before, is you can type in anything into YouTube and eventually a Joe Rogan clip will come up no matter what you type in. I found that interesting. That's social engineering. But look, remember when you said, when they asked Joe, I think this might have been before we went live, but we were talking about when somebody asked Joe Rogan if he's ever been approached by the CIA. Look, what does this video say? Joe Rogan, former CIA officer Mike Baker on the Ukraine and Putin with Joe Rogan. So he's never been confronted by the CIA, but he's interviewing the CIA.
Well, if you guys can dig up a clip with Lex Friedman talking to Joe Rogan from a few weeks ago, and Friedman.
So I can just prove him wrong right here. Look,
listen, Joe admits to knowing that guy, and he's a good guy, and blah blah blah. But Lex asked him, "Have you ever been approached by the CIA?" And they both go, "No," you know. But the whole thing is, they're all CIA. They're all fucking in it together. They're maybe not all CIA, but you know what I mean? Like they're all they're social engineering us. But as you scroll through here, right? But and again, that Lex Friedman talking.
I found that funny, but yeah, this is just never ending. Look at it.
No, it is. But seriously, you just keep scrolling like that, man. And I bet you'll never touch the bottom, because this fucking Ritter guy. And that's what the title of this should be, is Scott Ritter Exposed. But it doesn't expose Scott Ritter. It exposed how fake alt journalism is.
And the agenda behind it, or what the agenda isn't behind
it. Scott Ritter has something to say that falls into a category. They don't want, if everybody believed one thing, it doesn't create the division between humanity. So Scott Ritter has something different to say about the Ukraine war. So he is now being promoted so freaking heavily by people that, you know, like, you fucking want to trust anything on the internet, then this should open your eyes to, holy shit, man, these guys aren't journalists. These guys are fucking social engineers. That's all they are. There's no such thing as journalism. You know, you've got that Dorsey guy.
Oh, dude, this dude's doing like seminars and press conferences. Look, this is on the channel, challenging the media, more like mentally challenged media. Fuck, what the hell is going on here? Look at this, 45,000 views. Dude, he's everywhere.
Yeah, and you know, like, we just threw this together, but in reality, we could give you a list of the fucking channels this guy's been on, and whoever watches this, there's going to be people that trust these fucking alternative news sources. And not one of them has said, hey, Scott, what were you doing in between 2012 and 2014? Oh, you were locked up for what? Oh, because you're a minor attracted scumbag. This guy is fucking in his 50s, guys. And again, like Plato, how could this guy have fallen for that? Well, he fell for it twice, and the first time he got away with it. He's done it many, 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 many more times, and he probably continues to do it. He's allowed to do, just like Biden, just like Trudeau, just like
look at all these funny names he's associated with too. The funny names and these people, Ukraine crisis with Dan Cohen. What was the other one? Friggin' Snyder or something like that. Snyder and Cohen. Let's see what other names we can come up with.
Well, but it's everybody, man. It's Ron Paul. It's fucking from Ron Paul to Dan Cohen. It's everybody in between. Keep scrolling. This guy has been on hundreds of fucking alternative news programs.
300,000 views. Part 2, Scott Ritter. 1.3 thousand views. Scott Ritter.
Right now, Scott Ritter. Oh shit! I got an.
Oh, your audio cut out. If you need to take a second for yourself, you can jump. I'll let you back in. You need to take a personal call.
So to be honest, I think I need to go get a prescription for blood pressure pills fucking with you people, because you know what I mean? It's like so everybody in politics seems to be some sort of, what do you call it, Freddie, minor attracted scumbag.
Well, in the 70s, they used to get politicians. They get some sexy chick or whatever, or whatever that guy wants. And they fucking used to present that to that fucking politician that was on his way up. And then once they had the film, that guy was busted. And back in the 60s and 70s, it used to be, you know, you cheated on your wife, they got you, because that would end your political career. Unfortunately, the way that the fucking Sodom and Gomorrah reality is now they fucking get you for the worst fucking shit. And I don't know what has happened to this world, but I know that most of us have got children and shit like that. And our whole thing in this world is we should have left a better fucking place for our kids to inherit. And we can't anymore, because this is all fucking controlled. And it's all going down the wrong fucking tubes, man.
Me and Plato talked about this last night, what effect we're having on culture and us. It's like, I don't really care about us. We're adults. We can handle ourselves. I'm worried about the next generation, the future generation of kids that are going to have to deal with this. We're leaving behind a fucking terrible mess for them to deal with.
Keep scrolling.
And you know where you're going to find, and those kids that are inheriting the earth, you know where you're going to find them in the next 5 years? On a TikTok.
Yeah, well, I know. I did my experimenting last winter with TikTok, because there's a lot of truth bombs coming out about shit, and I went in there and I made stupid videos. Like I made one in the middle of a snowstorm, and the title was "COVID explodes in British Columbia." And then I went outside on the porch and I was like, "Oh my God, COVID's everywhere! It's exploding!" And I showed the snow coming down. And went, "Oh shit, it's just snow." And that video got 40,000 views in like a day. I was like, "Holy shit, that's pretty easy to go viral on this shit." And then when I started speaking against, there was a United Nations backed.
Hey, Freddie, look, hey, redacted, exposing the lies in Ukraine with Scott Ritter. How about exposing Scott Ritter for being the scumbag that he is? You're exposing shit that's irrelevant. Look at this. Look, that's redacted. These are the scumbags. These are the scumbags that took redacted from what's his name?
You know, when I found that, go.
Hey, that's the video. Hey, that right there, that video is one where Eddie and me were like, hey, look into Scott Ritter. And Eddie said shit, and the comments got deleted.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Me and Freddie were both in that.
views 2 weeks ago.
Me and Freddie were.
200,000 views.
So
Yeah,
when
we
this
went-
So maybe that's not the.
we already had in
No,
place
that's the same one.
a
That went out
gigantic
live,
machine
and
where the
we were
CIA is
commenting, "Hey, this
working
guy's
with the
a freaking
Ukrainians.
wronger, man. This guy's minor attracted person." And they not one person, 5,000 people watching that fucking broadcast live. Not one person could even see our fucking comments, let alone the producers that could obviously see it. Again, this is the fucking this is fucking journalism today. It is all controlled. There is no journal. Gary Webb was the last journalist, and he got fucking killed for exposing Iran-Contra.
Right.
And not right away. They gave him the Pulitzer Prize, and then they fucking didn't let him work as a journalist again for a credible organization.
Oh,
even back then,
you know
there was no credible
these
organization.
independent journalists, Freddie? Hey, look, there's the earpiece.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
so independent. They don't read a script. They don't have a teleprompter, and they don't have earpieces.
They're fucking, yeah, again, man, it's all smoke and fucking mirrors, right?
But these are also the people who stole the redacted name
Morrison.
from Lee Camp. Remember, Lee Camp was redacted
Yeah.
tonight. He got censored. They stole him.
That's
and there's
another
all beef
thing.
between that.
Lee Camp from Redacted Tonight, they lost their platform allegedly because of Ukraine, right? So he had Scott Ritter on there, and somebody on a live after that, I happened to catch it. The algorithm provides, and I'm watching Lee Camp as somebody said, "Hey, Ritter's a fucking he's a pedo or whatever that he was called in the chat." Lee Camp stopped what he was doing, addressed that comment, said, "No, you just wax off in front of kids." And then he blocked the person trying to tell him and tell the world Scott Ritter is a scumbag.
He was justifying that behavior, essentially.
Lee Camp justified Scott Ritter's behavior.
Gosh.
It has nothing to do with Ukraine. No, it has everything to do with, you got egg on your face because you you didn't do the, but it's not like they didn't do the research. It's that they don't fucking care because he's part of the agenda. Scott Ritter is now part of the agenda. So all these people are allowed to have him on. None of them address the fucking elephant in the room that you've got a fucking controlled entity on there. Military intelligence, United Nations fucking weapons inspector.
Hey, and you know what? This sounds an awful lot like my nemesis, Michael Aquino, right? Dude was a complete fucking dirtbag, but he's the head of psychological operations, right? And here we are, all these satanic pedophiles are in the room, right? Doing their thing. And this is all created. This is all created by people from, that are like Aquino.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. They might not openly be satanic or Luciferian, but they do dirty deeds. And Michael Aquino, he's not a saint himself, right? Like, his name comes up in a question with murder, mass murder at that, and so, like a lot of the content I did in the past is what kind of dirtbags are we dealing with? Who's running your fucking life? Like I tell my people here that are normies, you think you look around and you see the nice green trees and the birds and whatever and the wildlife, but look around, this is all a facade, right? When you go into the other realm, which is what's being presented, these people running your life are running, even though like people like the World Economic Forum and the World Government YouTube channel show their face, there's still nothing you could do about this facade that they're playing to run your life, right? Like like I mentioned yesterday, I pay to go to work, and this is getting insane. Like I just want to sit home and do nothing.
You can't even afford to work. It's cheaper to take a vacation and take a paid vacation at this point. Fuck.
Right. You got the hair cutter, you got the barber shops closing down. You got people like me that's doing mechanics that fucking, I don't know what the hell I'm doing there. Like I waste my day playing on the internet at work, and you see all these shits all this stuff shutting down and people going home early because they can't afford to work. They're paying to work by having the lights on.
There's not a lot of work because parts and stuff, especially for automotive and mechanic stuff, is getting expensive. So customers aren't even willing to pay to fix shit anymore.
And it's if you can even get the parts to fix the fucking car or the bike now, because the fucking supply chain is. And you know what? This whole thing about the supply chain, man, they scrapped thousands of tankers and cruise lines during this COVID shit. Like back in the day when COVID started, the president of fucking China was on the World Economic Forum 2020, and he said out of his own fucking mouth that the coronavirus is going to speed up Agenda 2030. That's what this is. And the World Economic Forum is the fucking face of Agenda 21, Agenda 2030.
Snoop said that World Economic Forum isn't real. They're not the dictators of the world. Don't listen to anything they said.
Public face. They're the social engineers end of it. They're the public relations they're the public relations end of Agenda 21 from the United Nations. And back in the day, 10 years ago, if you would have mentioned Agenda 21, even though you could go on the United Nations website and read all about it, their plan for the 21st century, they would fucking call you a conspiracy theorist.
Now they're open about it. Now they'll openly tell you about agenda. That's how my cousin who owns a body shop and a workshop and a mechanic shop, he's not even a conspiracy theorist. He's just trying to provide for his family, and he already knows about Agenda 2040. He said, I don't know what my shop's going to do. Everything's going to be phased out to electric vehicles by 2040, and that's going to be a fact.
And meanwhile, the grid up here, if every fucking logging truck in British Columbia went electric, not that Elon Musk ever fucking made an electric semi, although he faked it about 5 years ago, never produced one. If all of the logging trucks in British Columbia went to fucking electric tomorrow, if they somehow said, boom, hey, look, there's fucking X amount of trucks, the power grid couldn't even fucking supply it for them. And I'm in British Columbia. We're hydro dams everywhere with site speed coming online and all that shit. And none of it can keep up to the needs of an electric.
You want to know what cracks me up that a lot of people are unaware of too, is that it takes all this huge, heavy, diesel-operated machinery and trucks to move and mine lithium for your electric vehicle batteries.
Well, how about all right, it was some sort of a fucking thing from America. Somebody's electric car ran out of power. Well, guess what happened? They called for roadside assistance. Did they send a tow truck? Nope. What they did was they sent a car with a trailer, like a little SUV, gas powered, with a trailer that had a diesel generator on it. And the diesel generator powered the fucking, gave the guy a jump start for his electric car. This whole fucking thing, this whole world is based on lies and bullshit, man. It's fucking hilarious.
And also, I wanted to let people know who are watching. We were talking about Biden and Ritter and everything. We're not for Trump. We're not for Biden. We're not for anything. We're against the false political paradigm. We understand that it's all a farce. So don't think that because we're talking crap about Biden that we're automatically the opposition or Trump fans. We hate them all. They're all scumbags.
And I'm in Canada. I'm not for fucking Trudeau. He's a scumbag globalist. You got the NDP leader Jagmeet Singh that's now backing him up with a coalition. That's the official opposition is now working with the fucking minority government to push all this fucking UN Agenda 21 shit down our throats. Then you've got the conservatives with Pierre Poilievre's probably going to become the leader and make a run at it. Guess what? They're all in it together. And Pierre Poilievre is like, I'm going to make Canada the freest country in the world again. Well, fuck, let's hope so. Because right now, we're fucked. We got something called C11 coming through the parliament right now. It's going to probably be made into law. I think they just got to pass the Senate and then it's law. And you'll never hear from me again because anything I say, C11 is so fucking totalitarian when it comes to the internet. They'll be able to go through my personal emails. If they find anything in my personal emails that goes against the status quo, goes against how disgusting this government is and how much it's destroying the common man up here in Canada, I will be off the internet in a heartbeat.
Yeah, don't bring up the tiny hat. Don't bring up the tiny hat.
Well, you can't up here, man. You can't up here. We got such fucking weird laws compared to you Americans when it comes to your freedom of speech and all that shit. You know, we got the Nova Scotia, took fucking 1,500 long guns and fucking made them illegal. They haven't implemented it. It's a year and a half. What they're stalling for, I don't know. You got a shooting at a fucking school in Texas. and all of a sudden all of our handgun rights are being taken away.
Wasn't there 3 million Canadians that were being spied on without their consent through their mobile data? 30
million out of 38 million Canadians during COVID were spied on by our government through social media,
openly admitted.
And everything else.
After they did their whole fucking spying program and data collection, they openly admitted to the public that they were spying on them.
The Canadian military got caught doing a psychological operation in Nova Scotia with a bunch of timber wolves. We had loudspeakers.
Oh, the wolf side. I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. And then it went from that, and they got busted for tracking 30 million Canadians without their knowledge. And then let's go right into the fucking fake freedom convoy that was run by the fucking feds. All the people that fucking so-called organizers of the freedom convoy. And that's another thing. Not one alternative journalist up here, the little convoy streamers, not one of them ever looked at the fucking the people behind it, the Pat Kings, the Tamara.
They're really sketchy.
They're all sketchy. They're all failed politicians. They're separatists. They're this, they're that. That was a
Didn't the one lady that set up the GoFundMe, wasn't she like radical, talking about like she was like all anti-Semitic and talking about Muslims?
Yeah,
and was racist
I never saw
and, like,
Lynch do that. But she is a member of the fucking Maverick Party, which is a separatist organization trying to break up Canada. Again, all of these nations that we fucking call home, they're all going to be broken up in the next 10 to 20 years, and it's going to be the United Nations Agenda 21, which has nothing to do with national sovereignty.
This might be speculation. You think this has anything to do with the Georgia Guidestones? Since now that they're going to just go on with their plan, they don't need that. They don't need the stones anymore. It's going to happen. They'll be like, boom.
Well,
the Guidestones. We're almost there. We're almost done, baby.
I'll do my 2 seconds on fricking the Guidestones coming down. I watched on YouTube how they fired up CERN and it got taken out. No, actually, guess what?
I talked about that yesterday. That's funny.
This is what happened with like critical thinking, right? Georgia Guidestones, they go to blow it up. It doesn't all come down. So you know what they did? Within fucking 10 hours, they brought a hole in there and they knocked it down. You don't do that. If it got bombed on American soil, it was demolished, yes, but it was not bombed, blown up, or CERNed. It got taken down by the owners. Not one fucking journalist that I've seen has phoned up the police department in whatever city in fucking Georgia and fucking said, hey, how's the investigation going on the Guidestones? Because there is no investigation. If you blow something up on American soil that's not supposed to be blown up, that is an act of terrorism. It's fucking America. War on terror, that would be fucking locked down tight as a fucking drum. You don't bring a hoe in there and knock the rest of it down.
I still like our conspiracy theory that Richie from Boston grabbed his 33,333-pound toe strap, wrapped his Bronco around it, and pulled one of the fucking columns down. I'm pretty sure that's how it happened.
No, the reality, man, the Georgia Guidestones were taken down by the owners, or else it'd be a fucking federal investigation into terrorism. They don't bring a hoe down to knock the other 3 pillars down. There's called an investigation. It was taken down by the owners.
Yeah.
There was no investigation.
Hey, so we're gonna call the Guidestone guy the Richie from Boston bomber.
Well, me and Plato, I watched Clyde do something, which is a convoy streamer from up here that's gained a bit of a following by fucking looking at Canada politics, blah 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 blah. He's still, I call him Clyde from Boston now. I think Plato came up with that because this guy is only giving you. He had some fucking idiot, some other Canadian fucking truther war campaign or something. Guy looks like a fucking, I know. He looks like a fucking Q-tart to me, but whatever, right? He had him on there and they looked at it and they mentioned CERN. They didn't mention the common sense shit. Like, you know what? You're a journalist, man. Make a phone call. Talk to the police in fucking Georgia and go, how's that investigation? Well, there is no investigation. It was taken down by the owners, obviously. Like, you know, again, it's just the mind fucking of the internet. It's all lies, all of it.
Somebody in the comment section. Glitch was here last night when we were doing the live stream. Glitch says what we're talking about is balkanization.
Vulcanization? I don't know. To me, that's fixing a big truck tire. When you recap it, you vulcanize it. I'm not sure what vulcanization is or how he means that. And I can't see a chat right now because I've only got one little handheld device, so I don't really know. But what does he mean by vulcanization? But you know, whatever.
I'll figure it out. Give me 1 second.
But yeah, it's I don't know, man. Again, the the idea that there's any truth in journalism at this
balkanization
point.
is the balkanization is the fragmentation of a larger region or state into smaller regions and separate states, which may be hostile and cooperative with one another, usually by differences of ethnicity and region.
Yeah, well, the difference between
Divide and conquer, essentially. Balkanization is basically divide and conquer and overtaking fucking social engineering, overtaking humanity.
Yeah, well, you know, I know every color and creed of humanity, and you're either an asshole or you're not. But when it comes to these fucking alternative journalists, they're all fucking scumbags. The Scott Ritter blitz, which seriously, if Wake was still on that YouTube page, you could still see as he slowly scrolled that the guy's been on hundreds and hundreds of so-called journalist shows, and he's a controlled opposition. He's allowed to speak the alternative to the mainstream media.
Oh, I'll keep going if you want me to. Here, it's never ending.
It doesn't end. It doesn't end. You can go faster and go faster and go faster, and it will never end. It is just, it's unbelievable that there's that many so-called journalists that fucking fell or didn't fall. We're allowing this scumbag Scott Ritter on their channel. You know, there's things in life,
if you total up all these, all in all, he's got literally tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of views accumulated between every single channel and fucking show he's been on. You see this?
Again, there's certain lines you do not fucking cross in this fucking, it's so-called society, that there's no coming back. There's no rehabilitation. You fucking do something like that, you deserve a scarlet letter on your forehead, so that the next time, you know, you're out at the supermarket with your 14, 15-year-old daughter, and you see a guy with a scarlet letter P on his forehead, you fucking protect your daughter. You know, you tell that guy, hey, get the fuck out of here, man. What are you looking at? You don't fucking put him on every news program in North America and the world.
I think I found it. Scott Ritter on Lee Camp. Is that the one that you're talking about where he defends?
Yeah, well, the thing is, you go look at that, and then you go look at Lee Camp's live that he did after that, and he's all praising Scott Ritter, and the guy fucking drops dime on Scott Ritter in the chat, and Lee Camp blocks that guy for telling the truth. And Lee Camp's hilarious because he's all bitching and whining about those that Morris guy fucking taking over his name. Meanwhile, it's all controlled. All these guys are fucking in the same club.
Fake YouTube beef. We've seen that before too.
Oh God, but you know,
it's fake beef for cross-pollination of views and clicks and money.
But how do those hundreds and hundreds of alternative journalists all get this guy on there in the last 3 months, all to spew his fucking information and disinformation? Well, you know what? Like Hitler was probably really good at playing bridge. I wouldn't invite the fucking guy over for a game. You know, fuck this guy. It just, like, to me, it's, again, like when I found fucking YouTube and I bumped into those clowns from LTV and shit, and I thought, oh, that guy's, oh, look, it's a different side of reality. Wow, this is probably true. And then I fucking researched that guy, and look what he turned out to be, right?
Look, I found something that's concurrent with everything else that we've been finding. Does this guy pass the nose test right there?
See, you fucking idiots, man. But you know what? There's fucking just as many shills that don't play with the Torah at Christmas that they do during. It's weird that, you know, it is weird. It's just like, but again, I digress. I'm in Canada. I got to watch what I say, or I'll end up in some sort of hate tribunal.
No, I'm not trying to get you in trouble or anything. That's why I'm being kind of goofy and comical and satirical about it in a way, so I could just pull it off as the guys of comedy. But I mean, it's a joke when I'm pointing this stuff out. I mean, I'm not lying. Look, there's the same guy again.
They're all in it together, man. The fucking alternative media is so fucking controlled, and this is another, like, even if this doesn't convince you that they're all fucking part of one big agenda, that like we're looking at hundreds of alternative journalists and none of them can research who they're putting on their show. And if you did research it and go, well, you know, he's definitely attracted to young girls, but yeah, let's put him on anyway. Where's your fucking moral standing? It's all about the clicks and views and the coffee mug sales, eh? It's fucking disgusting.
Buy me a bagel.
Buy me a bagel. Yeah, I know. That's how you can support the show. It's called Buy Me a Bagel. Yeah, fuck it. They're all fake, man. But anyways, let's not make this go too long. Let's make it digestible. This is, in my opinion, I'm, you know, again, the dust and the cobwebs of my YouTubing is fucking, it's thick. I don't ever want to come back.
Man.
There's nothing to
Label it. So we meet again. It's been good talking to you guys. It's been a minute. We haven't had a live stream or a conversation like this in a long time. It's been years, actually. It's kind of fun. I don't want to do it all the time because I don't want to get viciously attacked and threatened by shills and stuff, or get shit for making live streams. I'm already sure just firing up a live stream has triggered plenty of people already. But yeah, man, it was good talking to you guys. I enjoyed it. I had fun. Maybe we'll do it again sometime soon.
And hopefully it can open up a couple of eyes when it comes to facts and reality, that it's all controlled, it's all scripted, it's all bullshit. I don't trust anything with the Ukraine war because I don't trust anything anywhere.
Reminds me of the guy who dropped the fake clip out of his prop gun during the live stream at the beginning of the Ukraine war, and they're all laughing.
Oh my god, yeah,
they're supposed to be professionals. Wow. Okay, yeah, military servicemen giggling, dropping their fucking weapons. That's professional.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen that clip, wow.
So what I want to tell the viewers of this is always ask, just like Freddie always says, the who, what, where, when, why.
And the how. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. Don't forget that.
And how, yeah.
More important than being skeptical in this day and age is to research the messenger of the fucking message.
Exactly.
All of these guys. It goes so far as that when you look at something like Anarchapulco from that Berwick fucking idiot, the dollar vigilante, you look at how many people go to that and then realize Berwick is an exposed scammer. And
I showed you his Tor web scam.
Oh, it's amazing.
I showed that to you guys. His Tor web scam where he's selling to make your life right and all this and that. When the dude ain't
there's only 3 life coaches without clients on YouTube, and it ain't fucking Berwick, man, with his little fucking running down the beach with Luke Radowski at Pedo Island, one of the most secure places in the world, in the middle of a fucking FBI investigation, and these guys are running from gardeners.
They were like frolicking down Pedophile Island too. Frolicking. Oh, they might as well have been holding hands. Jesus Christ.
But again, man, it's research your messengers because it's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah, and if you ask the who, what, where, when, why, and how, people are always like, "Oh, conspiracies! You're just you're gonna go down rabbit holes." Nope. If you use cognitive and critical thinking and use the who, what, where, when, why, and how, you'll never get rabbit holed. You'll figure everything out instantly, and you'll start thinking like the enemy and be a step ahead of them. Me and Plato talked about last night how we've predicted multiple things months in advance that happen, if not to a T, but relatively close to pretty much exactly what we've said was going to happen.
Yeah, well, again, it always falls back to fucking disinformation costs heavily in your soul and in your mind. The truth is always free, but it's up to you to be fucking skeptical.
Some people say the truth will set you free, but learning the truth is a fucking burden, man. Ignorance is bliss, and that's the truth. I'd rather not know some of this stuff sometimes, but it is better to be aware so then you don't get indoctrinated. But it's like, I wish I could walk around dumb and stupid. People dumb and stupid are so happy all the time. I wish I could be like that.
Well, I know people that are well aware of what's going on, and they're so fucking, they can't stop it, and they've built a shell around it, right? It's like, what does that matter? What does that matter? Well, we're at the critical point now there's so many people questioning reality that you've got things like, and I don't even know how legitimate it is what's going on in Holland right now. What just happened in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is so mirrors January 6th, but instead of fucking a bunch of federal assets egging useful idiots towards the velvet rope, opening, January 6th. And then look what's going on with that shit going on, that Senate hearing that's got the ex-ABC producer producing it. That's how fucking fucked up our political system is. That they have to make a Hollywood production of a fake event It's all fucking like Trump was always an actor, just like Biden is just as
He was
fucking
an actor. He
broke as
was
Trump.
literally on the show The Apprentice as an
Yeah,
actor on a fucking reality TV show. Literally an actor.
That two wings, same bird, obviously. But Trump was meant to polarize 50% of the nation. Biden's doing the other thing, and guess what happens? The nation will fall. All of our nations will fall because they're making it happen. The revolution that may or may not happen one day. It ain't gonna be real. The revolution is not going to be fucking televised because there isn't. But then you look at Sri Lanka and that whole country said, fuck you, you bankrupted us. And what did they do? They burned down the presidential palace.
Right.
Like,
and they
went
through
our countries are the exact same thing as Sri Lanka. We're fucking failed nations now because of coronavirus and printing out billions, trillions of dollars. And we're all failed now because of our political elite. And they fucked us all. They fucked our children's lives
elite,
up.
you want to know what's funny? The pizza gators were nowhere to be found because that was a right-wing conspiracy. But when Hunter Biden's hooker, prostitute, and crack smoking videos came out, nobody friggin' batted an eye or said anything. And now all of a sudden, months later, after we expose this, now it's actually coming out on the news and then mainstream media videos of Hunter Biden smoking crack pipes. It's like, oh, you didn't believe me, but now it's on the news. Am I still a conspiracy theorist? Am I still stupid, or do you believe me now?
Hey, they made a documentary.
Yeah, Fox did, didn't it? Fox or Sky or something did. Yeah,
Fuck yeah, they did. Fuck yeah, they did.
So I bet you Vice News does one too. But look at Kamala Harris or whatever. Like, what kind of a fucking people voted for these fucking idiots?
I doubt it. It's an election, more of an. It's not an election; it's more of a selection, if you will.
Oh well, I exposed that. I found a fucking CNN algorithm report on voters that was posted 30 days before the election, and it was plus minus 10% at the end game. And I was like, these motherfuckers already know, right? Like, this is CNN had documented the election results 30 days beforehand. and these right wingers want to tell you the election was stolen. No, it wasn't stolen. No, it wasn't stolen. Nobody voted for this dickhead. The algorithm did that.
We're at the point up here now that when our fucking great drama teacher goes out in public, that if there's any real Canadians anywhere, they are yelling traitor, scumbag, piece. It is fucking lit up here. So what you see is when Trudeau, like in Canada Day, those people that sat in front of him, they were vetted. They had to go through metal detectors, all this shit, because it is so like on Canada Day, I go happy Canada Day. And then I would go, fuck Trudeau. And everybody said, fuck Trudeau back to me. Everybody. And I was at a car show with thousands of people. No COVID, by the way. It was weird. But
by the way, no COVID.
This whole country knows that our leader is not fucking working for my country. They don't work for the country. They work for the United Nations. It's not World Economic Forum. It's the fucking UN, man. That's what's going to take shape. We're in the 21st century. The plan has been openly, you can fucking source it through the United Nations, and we're fucking a quarter of the way through it. And what's coming in the next few years is fucking horrific. Like you were saying yesterday,
and then I want to measure. Hey, I want to bring up this point. We've talked about it before in the background. Is if you look at these people that are blatantly telling their agenda story, like the World Economic Forum, the UN, and the World Government YouTube channel. You look at the views on these people that are just giving up all their game. You look at the views, and then you go and look at Redacted, and Redacted has more views than the motherfuckers actually in on it.
It's fucking insane, isn't it? Like, I watch the Canadian Parliament. That's my life, right? I watch what the enemy does. And I watch it is such a joke when they do debates.
And nobody's viewing. Nobody is
There's
watching that.
38 million people in my country, and I'm watching a parliament thing live with fucking 1,000, 2,000 other people. It's insane. We get what we deserve out of this life, and we're done. They
Hey,
fucking
and that's
have
what,
won.
and that's like when I was on the thing with Wake yesterday, we're doing that live. I said, we asked for this, right?
Yeah.
And that's a fact. We did this to ourselves.
I don't think me, you, or Wake did it. I think we tried to go, holy fuck, look at this. Holy fuck, look at that. But the rest of humanity, the ones that just don't give a shit because they're such debt slaves, they're like fucking little worker ants or whatever.
It was a collective effort on our part to do what we can, though. But what are three fucking guys like us, like, what are just average Joes like us going to do to change the whole entire world unless we can get a message out or actually start something with, like,
well, it's just
I
like,
don't have money. That's like, if all these shills were really doing something and really were for about freedom and fighting for truth, they would sell all their merchandise and do all that and actually start a fucking campaign to stop the tyranny and actually do something about it.
In Vancouver, they had a COVID protest at City Hall. They walked some idiot with I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000, how many thousand people were there, said, let's go to the Vancouver General Hospital and picket it. Yeah. And
and they blocked the emergency. They blocked the emergency entrances, didn't they? They blocked the emergency.
And you know what happened? That is an asset for the government that then use that fucking imagery of fucking useful idiots led by COINTELPRO shills to block fucking hospital entrances.
Just to make truthers or people who protest the jab or COVID to make them look like crazy people. They were paid to be there.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, like if I were to go to something like that, which I won't because, you know, I'm not involved in fucking that kind of activism.
If I was there, I would be like,
you know what?
How dare
I
you?
would have grabbed a loudspeaker and said, you're listening to an asset. You're listening to a Fed. Don't do it. It's stupid. Use your brain. But again, humanity is fucked. We can't who, what, where, when, why. How the fuck did we all learn that in school, but everybody forgot it?
Well, we never learned how to apply it critically, dude. We just got taught what it kind of meant and how the words were used, but not specifically how to use them properly with cognitive and critical thinking
it's
skills.
Laziness, and maybe they lied about our actual IQs as a species because fucking, you know, like there's no way that, how can that many people be that stupid? Mass formation psychosis. It's the only... People are so fucking stupid. Stop being a fucking follower and start fucking, at least in your own mind, be skeptical about everything. We just showed you how Scott Ritter has been promoted by fucking hundreds and hundreds of alternate alt journalists, and not one of them gave a shit to research him. No, that's not what happened.
But if it was right wing, it would have been Pizzagate all over again.
It's part of their fucking play that they have done to humanity for decades and decades, and we're in the middle of it now. We're in the fucking big time middle of a fucking global fucking psychological operation, and it continues to Ukraine, the most corrupt country in the fucking Europe. Let's give them billions and billions and billions of dollars. Meanwhile, guess who's blowing up grain silos? Probably the U.S. State Department.
I know Bill Gates bought up a bunch of farmland.
Guess who mined all the ports? It wasn't fucking Russia, most likely. It was probably Ukraine trying to blow up Russian ships. It's all
I know locally that Bill Gates and a bunch of government assets bought up a bunch of housing units, a bunch of housing projects developments, and also a bunch of farmland. So
hey, and speaking on that, Bill Gates just tried to buy, I think it was, what was it, Nebraska or Kentucky or something like that. I showed you guys he won his lawsuit.
Oh, wow.
So he's allowed to buy all the farmland.
Hey, a bunch of people pushed back like, hey, he can't be doing that. And he won the lawsuit. And they're all together. Yeah, they're all in it together. They said, let him buy it up. And you know what he's going to do is GMO cattle. He's going to save the world.
Well, that's what I got. That's tobacco. The Carolinas and Kentucky and parts of West Virginia is the tobacco where they grow all the tobacco. So can you imagine what's going into the cigarettes after he buys that shit up?
Yeah, yeah. Insane. But here's a thought, right? Take Elon Musk, Bezos, Bill Gates. If you stripped those three fucking asshats, because they're all scumbags. They're all just fucking rich industrial fucking scumbags. If you stripped all three of those idiots with fucking of all of their money, what good could you do for the world? Instead of building a fake rocket that doesn't go to space, or pushing a fucking vaccine that is ineffective to the current fucking virus, like it was at, oh, it's safe and effective. Again, it's all bullshit. Strip those three people of their wealth. What could you do for the world? You could fucking solve almost every fucking problem, but they'll never allow that to happen. That sounds a little bit like fucking communism or whatever, but guess what? Communism is fucking capitalism now too.
Hey boys, I just wanted to point out we just hit the hour mark. I don't know if you want to end this here and we can pick it up later.
Yeah,
if
let's end it.
Conversation, but we can always do another live stream. It was good talking to you guys and everybody that's in the chat. I don't
want to be a YouTuber again. It's dirty. But yeah,
hey, we can end the broadcast and we can continue this conversation a little bit and prepare our next setup behind the scenes after I end this broadcast. So right now I'm gonna hit end in 3, 2, 1.
Hey,
anybody need to say any last words or
I want to say one thing. Anybody you trust in any sort of journalism, look at Scott Ritter and ask yourself, what the fuck? Don't trust anyone in alt media. That's all I got to say.
Perfect.
That's right. Hey, we're out. Later.
Yep, we're out. Later, guys.